Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Welcome, welcome. Hello, beloveds. Come on in. Come on in. We're doing sensual tarot readings. Sensual tarot readings. Sensual tarot readings. Sensual tarot readings. With yours truly, Jade T. Hey, babes. How are you? It's so good to see you. It's good to see those of you who I'm with and I fellowship with each month. Oh, Sarah's here. Oh, we love it. Oh my gosh. Some of my cousins are here. Hello, my babies. It's good to see you. We're doing sexy tarot, sensual tarot, messages for the month. So the first thing that I like to do when I do these videos is, first thing, I like to make sure that we have a collective reading, right? So where are we entering into this conversation this particular month, right? Then I go through the toys. You choose a toy, and I will choose a card that corresponds with that toy, and that will be your erotic, sensual, sexual message for the month, okay? So let's see kind of what is the collective, the folks who are here or watching, past, present, future. What is our general, hey sugar, what is our general read? Hey sugar, good to see you. We just getting into the general pull. What are we moving into this season? Okay. Okay. And what are we moving into this season? Okay. Listen. So our erotic message for the month, in general. So everyone who's watching, past, present, future, this is where we are this month, sensually, sexually, erotically. And then I will pull a specific card, pair it with a toy for you. But the general read, 10 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Wands in reverse is your sensual. Someone asked, does it say continuous drought? That's funny. So listen, beloveds. The wands, that's fire energy, okay? So we're starting off pretty good. We've got some fire energy. We've got some fire and desire, honey, Rick James. We've got some excitement. We've got some passion, because why? We have wands, and wands is fire energy. Now, here's the thing. We have a 10 of wands. The number 10 is about beginnings and endings, things that are closing and things that are opening for you. So for some of you, right, when we see a 10 of wands in reverse, that means that all of us, not even for some of us, all of us that's gathered here, past, present, future, we have got to make more space in our schedule for play. We need to make more space and schedule for play, for sexual play, right? 10 of Wands comes to us when we are feeling overwhelmed with all of our responsibilities, all of our, the things that we have to do, right? And is it that your fire has dampened? 10 of Wands in reverse. Is it that your fire has dampened? Is it that your desire has dampened? Or is it that you're so busy that your body doesn't have time to really flow through these different states of awareness, right? What is the ritual that you do to move yourself from a place of production to a place of pleasure, to a place of actually experiencing that fire energy, experiencing that warmth, that passion, that vibrancy, right? What's the ritual that we use to move us into that space? Well, before we can even figure that out, we got to take something off of our schedule. when we see this card in reverse, it can talk about burnout, particularly in this case, erotic burnout. If you're always the one that's kind of, setting up the play dates, or you're always the one that's making sure that, the space is set, the central, like now is a good time, right? To tell the people that you're playing with, if you're playing with partners, like, listen, I need you to be also holding this space. I need you to also be stoking the flames of this erotic fire. Now, if you are doing solo play, yes, beloveds, make the time to do that. Oh, yes, twin 7 months old. Oh, my, bless you. Yeah, it can be so hard. It can be so hard to really flow into our erotic self when we're burnt out, when we're busy, when we're right? And sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves to, be this erotica goddess, or be this erotica goddess, or be this erotica god, or, this erotica deity, right? But we haven't made the time to do any pleasurable self-touch. We haven't made the time to enjoy, right? Every inch, every curve, every moment. Right? So for this side, somebody said, well, what do we size queens do? Size queens, you get the same message, my babies. Schedule in the time, because this is a collective message, meaning that we all have a lot on our plate. Okay? So that you can enjoy what you got going on, my baby. Take some stuff off of the plate. Okay? 10 of Wands. Now, the second one, oh my goodness. So this is the thing. The 9 of Swords. I'm going to show you this card, and I want you to take a deep breath. I don't want you to get freaked out. I'm going to show you this card. It goes into knife play. Okay? So for those of you who are just sensitive with images and all of that, this card engages knife play, as it's a certain kink, right, that happens with knives. So this is the 9 of Swords. Oh, what a picture, right? The 9 of Swords. The 9 of Swords is really interesting because when we look at the swords, this does not mean something bad is going to happen. I feel like we'd be so scared and so shook. This does not mean something bad is going to happen. This means that there's a lot that's on our mind, right? So the 9 of Swords, the suit of swords, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that suit. Just like the wands is fire, the swords is air. It is how we think. It is how we strategize. It is also how we communicate. It's how we communicate, right? Now, the 9 is the number of mastery. So it's not necessarily mastery over other people. It's mastery in self-awareness, knowing yourself, right? Mastery in self-awareness, knowing yourself, knowing your swords, knowing your beliefs, your values, all of those different kinds of things. Now, why this image, right? And how does it tie into our erotic life or our sensual or sexual message? It looks like, honestly, this reading today is giving, like, what are the obstacles that kind of come up when we try to move into our erotic, sensual, or sexual self? And some of that can be overthinking. For some of us, it's going to be the overscheduling, right? Not actually making the time to move away from burnout, to move deeper into pleasure, okay? Right? So that's the word for some of us. For others of us, though, 9 of Swords, the mental. Yes, mastery, masturbation, yes. For others of us, it's actually the mental components that we need to soothe, right? So do something that allows you to move out of your comfort zone, but in a safe, and consensual way. So the 9 of Swords might mean that we need something new, like psychologically to think on, to fantasize about. We might need a new type of scene, right? We might need a new type of impact play. We might need to put in mindful breaths or mindful breathing or mindful meditation, because for some of us, the obstacle to our, I'm going to call it erotic presence, right? Our being there in that moment of the erotic, wherever it comes, whether it's through solo play, through partner play, or through just being in the world and enjoying the eroticism, the sensuality, the sexuality of the world around us, honey. The Nine of Swords is saying we can't enjoy all of that when we've got so much up here. We're overthinking. We're putting too much. Some of us are putting actually too much pressure on our sexual and sensual life. Thank you, Sarah, for helping me helping me preach this today. Yes. Some of us are putting too much pressure on ourselves, right? To live up to what we think an erotica god or goddess or, or goddess looks like. Some of us are putting too much pressure on the orgasm. Some of us are putting too much pressure, and we can't get out of our head about things. And that's okay. We have to bring ourselves back into our breath. We have to bring ourselves back into our present moment. We have to bring ourselves back into our state of awareness and say, okay, mind, how can I show up for you? What is it that you need? Do you feel safe in this moment, right, to play? Do you need a pause? Do you need some water? Like, what is it that you need to feel psychologically safe in an erotic moment? Okay, so these are the two things. It's looking like, my babies, this month, this is a month to get out of our own way. This is a month to get out of our own way. The first card. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to pull 3 cards. And I want you to choose a number 1, 2, or 3. Choose a number 1, 2, or 3. Choose a number 1, 2, or 3. When you got it, put it in the chat for me. Choose a number 1, 2, or 3. When you got it, put it in the chat. 1, 2, or 3. Okay. So, 1s, 2s. Okay. 3s. Ooh, 3. Ooh, wee. Okay, I love it. This is so good, y'all. Okay. Let's see. I want to do patchy paw. I want to do. Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Y'all are just so great. Okay, so if you chose number 1, your card is the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Coins, Queen of Pentacles. Look at them. They're just like living their life, eating their ice cream, the money, it's just so luxurious. Queen of Coins. So if you chose 1, you received the card Queen of Coins. And I'm going to pair that with the toy Patchy Paw. I'm going to pair that with, this is a vibrator. You can insert it. It's good for vaginal penetration. And it has so many different settings and so many, oh my gosh, it's one of my favorites. Today I decided that I was actually going to feature, for the sex toys, some of my favorite toys from Fun Factory. So these are like my personal favorites. So if you chose 1, you have Queen of Coins with Patchy Paw. If you chose 2, you have Ace of Wands with the Volta. This is like one of my favorite. Oh my gosh. The Volta, the Ace of Wands. If you chose 2, you have the Ace of Wands with the Volta toy. Okay. And then if you chose 3, you have the Tower in reverse with Miss Buy. The Tower in reverse with Miss Buy. I actually want to start with 3. Okay. So I'm going to start with 3. For my babies that chose 3, or if you're just joining us. This is your message. So the Tower, this is what we call a major arcana card. Major arcana card. The tarot set up in majors and minors. The majors, they actually bring us into like larger life themes, big sweeping reflections. They ask us like how we do what we do, right? Whereas the minors, they help us understand like what kind of energy do we need to be flowing in, right? So your minors are cards like the Ace of Wands. Somebody say, can I change to one? You can receive all of these cards if you want to. You can say all these cards are for me, you know? So if you chose 3, you have the Tower in reverse, as well as Miss By as your toy combo. Let me tell you why. The Tower card, I want to talk about this particular tarot deck. This deck is called the Sluttist Tarot deck. And it is, let me see if I can find Serene, Morgan Claire Serene is the illustrator and the writer, okay? And in this deck, they talk about this theme, right, of being a slut or of being, you know, a hoe. And they talk about how Western society often, very, very, very often pathologizes or makes a problem, particularly folks with marginalized genders, women and femmes, makes a problem and pathologizes sexuality, sensuality, and the erotic. So in this particular deck, the Tower stands for like Western representations, Victorian ideals of like purity and piety and all of that like locks down our erotic self, right? As folks with marginalized genders, or as women, or as femmes, or, you know, crossing these different kind of areas of marginalization. So when you see this Tower in reverse, that's good news, because you are deciding to experience the force that is the erotic, as Audre Lorde teaches us, this resource of this wellspring of joy, this wellspring of pleasure outside of the gaze of, right, Western purity culture. Good for you, god damn it. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I can cuss on these things. Sorry, Nora, if you're here. But good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, the Tower is about shaking things up, making things new, making things different, right? You are not here just to take whatever you can get. And I love that for you. The Tower, you are at a place right now where your sexual creativity is high, your sensual creativity is high, and you may not be sure all of the ways that your sexual or sensual self represents, right? Or the way that it manifests. And that's okay too, right? So I wanted to choose Miss By for you. This is one of my favorites. Again, all of the ones that are used today are some of my favorites. So this is Miss By. This one, the motor on this one, the G-spot play on this one, the clitoral stimulation on this one, I can't. The combinations on this one, I can't. So the reason why I actually want to pair this with the Tower in reverse is because it is about shakeups. It's about putting together new ways of being, right? It's about trying something new, and it's about change. So if you chose 3, I want you to be open to all of the beautiful ways that your erotic, sensual, and sexual self is going to show up this month. Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid. If you have some sensual partners that come, great. If you have some sensual partners that go, great. And I know it doesn't always feel that way, right? But this is a time for you to release one rigid expectation, release the Western expectation of what your specific sensuality and sexuality should look like. Okay, are you hearing me? If you're hearing me, say something. If you hear me, say something. Okay, yes. Loving it, doing this week. Loving that you picked 3. Yes, the Tower is the shake up. And I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Because it's even about, the Tower is also a very spiritual card. And so we can connect, if you chose 3, you know, we can connect this spirituality and this sensuality together. We're at a place where we're ready to do that now a little bit more. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're getting into all kinds of like tantric, sexual play, all kinds of breath play, all kind. I would not be surprised. It's not to say that you are doing this, but I wouldn't be surprised if you are. Okay. So those that chose 2, Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands with the Volta, Ace of Wands with the Volta. If you chose the number 2, or if you are just joining us, this is a message that you can receive for your sensual reading for this month. Yes, we do love a good stretch, huh? Ace of Wands, again, we're back in the Wands. So you remember what the Wands means. It's our fire energy. It is like the spark. I love the Wands because it's just so... I don't know why it's making me roll my shoulders, but that's what it's giving. It's giving, ooh, yes, Wands, the warmth, the fire, the passion. It's like a good kiss. That's what the Wands reminds me of. It brings up our creativity and our power and our veracity. I love that. The Ace, it's number 1. It's the start. It's the seed, right? So if Wands is a fire, right, then Ace is the first spark. It's the first spark of that fire. And so the Ace of Wands, if you chose 2 or you have the Ace of Wands, this is telling you like, yes, we're in a moment globally. We're in a moment globally that we really have to have care for the way that our erotic play looks. So where we really have to have care for the way our sensual exchanges look. And you might be feeling awkward coming up out of this moment. Like, yo, how do I even flirt after a pandemic? Like, what does one do, right? I mean, then not even after, still in it, right? Like, how does one, who, where, if you chose 2, you're just like, listen, the spark is there, right? The fire is there. We're just at the beginning of something new. So you have to open. There's a black proverb. There's a black folk proverb that says, "Closed mouths don't get fed." Closed mouths don't get fed. And I'm going to say, as a sensualist, closed mouths don't get filled. Hopefully Nora doesn't kick me off. Now, listen, closed mouths don't get filled. So you're going to have to say something, okay? You're going to have to say something, my baby. I know it's hard. I know that it can feel awkward. I know that it can feel like, how do I even make this move? Am I feeling this spark? I know it can feel that way, but you gotta say something. Ace is like the playfulness. Flirting, you're taking it too seriously, my baby. Whoever to choose, you're taking it too seriously. Like, this is not somebody using my full name. Listen, yes, closed legs don't get okay. Because I wasn't going to tell y'all that this originally came up in reverse. I wasn't going to tell y'all that. But I'm going to tell y'all that now because it's important to know you got to start somewhere. So don't overthink it. Like, don't overthink it. The flirtation is supposed to be fun for you, right? That's that first spark. So go ahead and ask yourself, what is the spark that what's the fire I'm trying to light, baby? What am I trying to do? Your toy combination, or the toy combination I think works for this, is the Volta. The Volta, as you can see, it's got some really nice stimulation. You can use it for clitoral stimulation. very powerful. The motor is very, very powerful, and there are a lot of combinations, particularly with this. I wonder if this is going to work. I don't know. I think this maybe will like help you. Yeah, so you can just kind of see like it's giving. And so I like this because this kind of reminds me of this theme of like shaking things up, allowing yourself that play, allowing yourself that lightheartedness, not taking it too seriously, okay? So closed mouth don't get fed and closed mouth don't get filled. So, okay? Now, if you chose one, or if you are just joining us, you can receive this message for yourself. Number one, if you chose one, or if you're just joining us, you can receive this sensual tarot message for your month ahead. The first thing, I'm going to do a quick recap though, because what everyone got, the thing that's dealing with us all right now is that we have to find spaces to feel psychologically safe, right, in our erotic play. And we have to communicate that with our partners, right? Or we have to really give some thought to that if we're doing solo play, right? Why? Because we have the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Swords is kind of like the worry card, right? And so sometimes our erotic journey can be become complicated just because of all the stuff we're just like holding in our minds. So we have to take care of our mental health. Sometimes we think about like May is masturbation month, but May is also mental health awareness month. And I actually really love that this 9 is here, because oftentimes we forget about that organ, right? We forget about the brain and the way that our brains influence, right, our sexual, sensual, or erotic moments or processing. So for those of you that you're overwhelmed with anxiety right now, for those of you that you're feeling like this 9 of Swords, right, your key towards that erotic fulfillment that I believe that you are craving really comes with like the mind realignment and the mental health kind of creating space for yourself, okay, my babies? So that's the 9 of Swords. Also, some of us, we're too damn busy, right? We want all this erotic fulfillment. We want all of these beautiful, sensual, sexual, juicy moments, right? We want all of that, but we won't make no time on our schedule to do that. Let me tell you something, my baby. Scheduled sex, scheduled play, scheduled touch. That's just intentionality. It's not boring. It's not tiring. That is just being intentional. So the 10 of Wands is actually asking us to rest so we can be intentional about our pleasure, okay? Rest. Take something off your plate so that we can be intentional about our pleasure. And for some of you, if that's something you need to schedule, then that's something that you need to say, okay, boom, I'm going to be honest with myself, baby, and I'm going to schedule this. Okay, 1. If you chose 1, or if you are just joining us today, we have the Queen of Coins for number 1. Queen of Coins, number 1, you've got Patchy Paw. This is a vibrator, and what I like about this vibrator is that it's got some, like, the girth of it kind of opens up, right? It's very flexible, very, very flexible, and it's got this really nice kind of like massaging head here. What's hilarious to me is that it also's got like this kind of funny looking, like a little funny face, which is nice when you don't want to take it like super seriously. And so, Queen of Coins, this you are ready for like the sensual delights, right? Sensuality, sexuality, and the erotic, they're similar words, but they don't necessarily mean the same thing. So Queen of Coins, number 1, I'm talking to you about like your key to the erotic fulfillment that you're looking for this month is going to be through actually your senses. The Queen represents taking ownership of that which concerns you. The coins is like your everyday tactile experience. We went through the wands, which is fire. We went through the swords, which is air. And now here we are at the coins, which is earth. So that is like, we have such an important precedence, or we have a need almost in this moment, if you chose one, to have some, like, something I can feel. You know that song, Giving Him Something He Can Feel? That is you, number one. You want them to give you something that you can feel, you can sense, you can taste, touch, hear, smell, see. Okay? That's what it is. And so think and ask yourself, what are those sensual delights that I need in order to kind of fall into my pleasure? Hey, Sierra, good to see you, sugar. So the Queen of Coins, if you're just joining us now or you chose number one, Queen of Coins, your toy is Patchy Paw. So cute. So great, very sensory, very tactile. Queen of Coins, it's like food play. You need, something big, yes. Food play is really, really luxurious for you at this, may feel really luxurious for you at this time. Dressing up, cosplay, role play. Again, once you're in the tactile, you're like, lights, camera, action, okay? Lights, camera, action. You need the sensual, right? What can I sense? That's the key that actually helps you get into, right, your erotic space. So Queen of Coins, number one, I love this for you because you're going to have to advocate for those embodied needs. Advocate for, like, if you need a scene, baby, it's not extra that you need a scene. It just is what it is. If you want to be in a gorgeous lingerie gown, that's not extra. It just is what it is. Okay? So, Queen of Coins, Queen of Coins. How can I say this? How can I say this part? Okay. I have an ancestor that always used to say, don't let nobody give you no wooden nickels. Don't let nobody give you no wooden nickels. And wooden nickels are just like promises of things. They talk a good game. They talk a good, they're talking good. But when it's time to do the action, they're not giving what they're supposed to give. Okay? So the Queen of Cups, if you chose one or if you just joined us, hey, sugar. If you just joined us, you can receive this message. Also, don't let nobody give you no wooden nickels. If you're not pleased, then don't fake your orgasm. Don't let nobody give you no wooden nickels and you're just like, oh, that's fine. No, my baby. Queen of Coins. The queen is here to hold space, to take space. So for those of you who tend to be really shy, right, or reserved within these erotic spaces, now is a beautiful time for you to really show up and say, listen, this is what I find luxurious. This is what I find sensual. This is what I find sexual. And it's not extra. It's not extra. My pleasure. I want you to, somebody need to type this. My pleasure is not extra. My pleasure is not extra. Because we started off thinking that it was extra with our 10 of Wands in reverse. Not making the time to be in our pleasure. And I want to be clear that pleasure does not just equal sex. The pleasure of just touch, the pleasure of oiling our bodies down, the pleasure of adorning our bodies in whatever way feels good for us. That's not extra. That's not extra. That's not just like you throw it on. The 10 of Wands is saying you may need to make space and time and intentionality. It is okay if within a pandemic and within this moment that you can't just have a spontaneous rendezvous. That's okay. That's okay. The wands will still be there. The fire will still be there. And if you can, then great. Love that for you. Okay? I love that for you. But if you can't, then you're in good company. So what we must do is we must take some time take something off of our plates so that we can actually be intentional about our pleasure. So I want you to see something. In both of these, there's ice cream. So you can see this image, their ice cream is kind of like melting because they're just like not even, they're like in a whole nother place. But in this one, there's an enjoyment. There's a presence, right? And so we have to decide, like, where we trying to be? How intentional are we trying to be? Okay? So that's how we started off. But throughout this month, we have beautiful messages that are in store for us. Beautiful messages that are in store for us. So if you chose 3, you have the Tower in reverse, the shake up, the new things. You are actually breaking these like strict containers, right? That may have been ascribed or prescribed to your body. And that is a beautiful thing. And I'm rooting you on in your work. This is a work I think that's going to go on, yes, this month, but like also this is the only major arcana card that we have today. So this is going to be like a process for you. And I want you to enjoy the process for as much as you can, okay? The toy that you received is Miss By, one of my favorites. The Ace of Wands, you're putting too much pressure on the moment, on the sensual moment. If you think they're cute, you can say, oh, I think you're cute. If you're like, oh, I want to flirt a little bit, you know. Don't count yourself out. Don't give yourself the no before you've even struck the match, right? Ace of Wands, closed mouth, don't get fed, baby. And your toy is the Volta. The Volta. Love this toy. It's one of my favorites. For those who chose number 1, bye-bye, sugar. For those who chose number 1, the Queen of Coins. The Queen of Coins. What is it that you need? Your sensuality is not extra. It's not extra. So this is one of my favorite parts. This is the part where you can ask me your questions. And I will pull a card for you on the sensual, sexual, or erotic tarot scope for your next month, okay? So if you have a specific question that you are hoping for around, and it's gotta be around sensuality, sexuality, or the erotic. I'm not here to tell you, are you gonna get a new job, or are you gonna, I don't know. So if there is something that is coming up in your heart or in your mind, a question around sexuality, sensuality, or the erotic, go ahead and ask that now. Put it in the chat so that I can see. Someone saying, when can we see it in real-time action? I don't know what that means. I think they were talking about the toys, maybe. Maybe they were waiting on me to do a demo. So for those of you who have specific questions around sexuality, sensuality, and the erotic, you can ask them now. I'll wait to see if anyone has anything in the chat. I know there can sometimes be a little time lag. And just in general, for the good of the order, I'm going to pull us a closing card. Beautiful. Okay. I don't see anything. So our closing card is the Witch. I love it. It's gorgeous. The Witch. The Witch. The Witch. Or the Magician or the Conjurer, whichever language you like, you use. Okay. I love this because the Magician, the Conjurer, or the Witch is very aware that they can take the elements that they have, the elements that are here, right, and make magic from them, make erotic magic from them and with them. I lead a space called the Embodied Sensual Ritual Space in the work that I do online. And yesterday we were talking about making the magic easy, which is something that I often say is making the magic easy. And we talked about the fact that sometimes we will go here, there, and everywhere when what we need is like literally in our closet, right? And so like we were talking about like what are ways that we can use pillows, right, to get more, you know, get better angles, huh? What are the ways we can use pillows and props and different things that we may already have, to create magic, to create deeper sensual experiences, to create more comforting experiences? We talked about even like putting a heating pad like on your bed before, right? For your back, honey. Like the magic is the magic is in there every day. Sometimes we wait for our erotic magic to show up, like, but sometimes it really is you just taking some time to communicate with yourself or with others. Like, this is what I need to feel erotically safe, sexually safe, sensually safe. And this is the magic that I want to create right here, where I am, okay? Right here, where I am. There's so many different things that we can use to allow our erotic moments to be really, really kind to our bodies. So the witch is saying, like, don't be afraid to make the magic. Make the magic and make it easy for yourself, okay, my babies? I'm excited as usual to be here. I always enjoy being here with you. And you can watch the replays of this either on Fun Factory USA Instagram or online at funfactoryusa.com. You can watch the replay, and you can also get a nice transcription for this time together. So I'm so excited. Thank you, beloveds. You can find me at Jade T Perry after this point. Thank you to my e-cousins who popped through. It was so good to see you. And I hope that I get to see you again soon. Okay, sugars? Bye-bye.